What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Noobster back with another Wonderlands build video. And as I said before, guys, I promise, I come back. I always come back to Wonderlands. I always make other games too. And trust me, I'm still going to make other game videos. I'm still going to continue the Call of Duty series. Hopefully it'll get traction. But for now, I played a little bit more with Wonderlands, came up with this fire build. But, before we get started, just check out this clip and you'll get a little bit of an idea of what this build is all about.
Ready to cast.
Alright, so I think y'all get the idea. Yeah, the build is kind of insane. Y'all saw the mobbing potential, y'all saw a little bit of the bossing potential. The whole thing is you got to get the ricochet going, right? And once you get that, boom, the damage numbers are crazy. So, yeah, let's just hop right in. As you can see, it's a Deadshot build, so this is another spell-based build, but this one's special. Now, I tried making a version of this with the Blight Collar. Right. Sorry, forgot it. I had to remind myself. With the Blight Collar, and it works well. Y'all already saw the video I posted on it. But I wanted to try with this because I didn't like that I had to use different guns and try to get all the different elements on it. I was like, look, if I'm using poison, obviously I want poison to be the big thing, which it was. But, you had to get a little bit of extra stuff here and there. So we didn't want any of those gimmicks, and we wanted to see if this was viable with Chaos 100. And as you can see from the clip, that was Chaos 100. Anyway, enough of me rambling. Let's actually look at what we're rocking with. Alright, guys. So hopping right in, this is the Graveborn tree. This is a very, very standard Graveborn Spellshot, spell-based build. So, hopping right on, obviously spell-based build, Ambihextrous is the go-to. Then we got 3 in Faithful Thralls, 5 in Essence Drain. Essence Drain is going to reduce our spell cooldown rate. We basically can spam the spells pretty quick. We have a little bit of weight, so I'm not promising that you'll be able to boom, 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 fire spells rapidly. But, if you are a little bit patient, you'll get them back relatively quick. Faithful Thralls, basically, whenever you have a companion, you are going to deal extra damage based on how many companions you have. So 9% per companion with 3 points in it. Very good because of a couple of skills in the Graveborn tree. You'll see, and you probably already know. Harvest is next. Harvest is basically our companions deal bonus dark magic damage. It's not a big thing, but it's nice to have because we are going to have a couple of companions, flying around, and not flying around, but just from our actual Demi-Lich and our next point here, which is Dark Hydra. Basically, whatever we kill, we are going to summon we have a chance to summon a Dark Hydra companion. And I think you can have 3 companions. Basically, that's a total of 4 different companions that we have. And with Faithful Thralls, yeah, you're going to be getting, 4 times 9, 36% extra damage from just our companions alone. And they're going to be there almost the entire time because we are going to be spamming our spells like crazy. Next, we have Sanguine Sacrament. This is just our survivability skill here. Whenever we cast a spell, we are going to regen our health over a brief duration, and this heals a lot, like an insane amount. If you have seen my other spell-based builds with Graveborn, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I love this skill. And then 1 in Stain of the Soul. This is just sort of an extra point I put just because I wanted to get down the skill tree. Feel free to use this wherever you'd like. Next, we have Ascension. Ascension is a kill skill. Basically, our max health and spell damage is increased for a long duration whenever we... So basically, you'll see down in the skill tree, but basically, we also have Morheim's Blessing. Morheim's Blessing, all these kill skills that you're seeing here, are going to be procced whenever we cast a spell. So basically, with this, whenever we cast a spell, boom, our spell damage is going up. And it lasts for 30 seconds. And yeah, you're getting. So this stacks, right? So you're getting 10 stacks, 60% extra damage with the max stacks. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Great skill to have. Next, we have Lord of Edges. So the Fate Maker increases our damage dealt when health is very low. So basically, the lower your health, the more damage you deal, and the less damage you take because of the increased damage reduction. But that's not a really big deal, to be honest. And last but not least, for the Graveborn, we have Blast Gas. Whenever we deal spell damage, there's a chance that we create an elemental explosion that deals ability damage. Very, very, very good skill. It does a huge chunk of damage. I don't even know how they calculated this because it feels way more than 35% of spell damage dealt. It's insane. But that is the Graveborn tree. We already talked about Morheim's Blessing. Very good capstone. Next, in the Spellshot tree, we went 5 out of 5 in Spell Sniper. We want to hit crits. We'll show you why. So this is a must-have. Next, we have Magic Bullets. This scales our spell damage from our gun damage. So it's weird. All I know is that it's a good skill to have now with spell builds. I really struggle with explaining it, but I know it's a great spell damage based build all around. So make sure you put 3 out of 3 in Magic Bullets. It's a very good skill to have. Next, we have Prestidigitation. Really, this is probably the worst skill to have. Just because we aren't using any guns, you can put this wherever you like. Just don't put it in Mage Armor. You can put it in this, even though, again, this is also a terrible skill because we are not shooting guns. But that is, we have to have 1 point. I just put it here. It's pretty pointless, to be honest. But we have to have it to move down in the skill tree. Next, we have Font of Mana. This is going to increase our spell cooldown rate. So this, combined with Essence Drain, makes our spell cooldown pretty low. Next, we have Glass Cannon. Glass Cannon, you guys know, basically, when it removes our ward regeneration, but increases our spell damage by 30%. This works hand in hand with the Cursed Wit. Basically, you keep the uptime with the Cursed Wit, plus this flat bonus of spell damage increased by 30%. Very good skill to have, especially for spell-based builds. And then last but not least, we have High Thread Count. Basically, this increases our spell weaving stacks to 8. And yeah, with 8 stacks, you're getting a ton of extra spell damage, especially with all of the spell increases with our hero stats and all that. But yeah, you're doing a lot more spell damage with extra spell weaving stacks, basically. And again, as I was showing, here are the hero points. I maxed out crit damage, and I maxed out spell cooldown, and then I put a little bit, I think, into max health. But again, you can use whatever you'd like. You don't want to put it into skill cooldown because we are not rocking with any skills. But of course, you can put it into Constitution. You can put a little bit into Dexterity, whatever you'd like. But this is our setup here. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the inventory next. Alright guys, so here with the inventory, we got it pretty simple. As you can see, we're not using any weapons. We are strictly using spells, and we have a melee weapon, but that's mainly for the enchant. And then also Archmage, which helps a little bit. But we're starting off with a Goblin Pickaxe. So the Goblin Pickaxe, pretty basic. You guys know what it does. You pick up gold, you get increased movement speed, you get a little bit of extra spell cooldown. But the main reason we're using this Goblin Pickaxe is because of Archmage. So every time we melee, we're going to actually reduce our spell cooldown even more. Now, unfortunately, I don't use melee as much to actually reap the benefit of it. But if you do occasionally melee your enemies, this is going to be really big because you'll be able to get the gold, and on top of that, get increased spell cooldown from Archmage, and you'll be able to spam your spells even more. And the enchant we have here is on spellcast, increase poison damage by 30% for 5 seconds. And you guys know the gist. You can use these enchants amongst all your gear. Just try to have these specific enchants. It just doesn't matter if it's on the pickaxe, if it's on the gun, if you decide to use a gun, or shield, or anything like that. So just try to have these enchants that we have here. Next, hopping into the shield. The shield we're using is a Cursed Wit. Cursed Wit is a great shield to have for the Spellshot because you don't regen your shield. Now, I am aware that people have reported that the Cursed Wit doesn't last forever if you do use Spellshot, but sort of it's not a great remedy, but I do go down with this build and then the Curse Wit kind of resets. Not the best thing in the world in that case, but unfortunately that's what we're working with. It does do a lot of damage for bosses, but if you do want to replace the shield with anything else, feel free to do so. For now, I'm just using the Curse Wit because it does help with bossing. I just take a ton of damage, lose my shield, and then have like extra 100% increased damage dealt to nearby enemies. So the enchant we have on this is on spellcast, increase elemental damage by 20% for 5 seconds. So this will stack on top of the toxic damage, and we're only using spells, so we don't want any action skill any action skill or what is it like? I don't know, action skill active. We don't want any of those. Just on spellcast or on spell kill. Next, we have the rings. Two basic spell damage rings. You've seen this in other spell videos. It's spell damage with the passives of spell critical hit chance and spell critical hit damage. And these are both mood rings, which means that while our ward is not full, we'll be increasing the effects by 33%. And as you guys know, with Spellshot, we're not going to have our shield most of the time, so we basically have this active all the time. Next, with our class mod, we have an Amalgam. This one is similar to what we used with the Todoroki Fire and Ice build. So this Amalgam is the exact same. Now, I will say, if you can have an Amalgam that has similar roles, so mainly 3 and Double Knot, and obviously Spellshot Power, Stabomancer. Of course, we're not using Stabomancer, but that doesn't matter. We really want it for the 3 Double Knot. But if you can replace the gun critical hit chance and gun damage with ability damage and spell crit hit chance, yeah, you'll do a ton more damage because you'll be landing more spell crits, you'll be doing more ability blast gasp damage. It just stacks on top of one another and you'll just do a ton of damage. Not to mention, this is just a primordial. If you haven't ascended, boom, even better. Next is a joint training. This is just going to be poison damage and spell shot power, and all damage dealt as our passive. Now, the reason we're using the joint training is because with our Dark Hydras and our companion from our Graveborn, we are going to get a few crit hit procs, especially because the other passive is when a Fate Maker lands a critical hit, the companion crit hit damage increases by 80%, and then whenever the companion does a crit hit, the Fate Maker's crit hit damage increases by 30%. So it kind of just stacks one after another. I don't know how often it procs, but it is a nice to have, and honestly, there wasn't really other options unless you want one like a Harbinger, which honestly, no, not a Harbinger, but a Skeep, a Sacrificial Skeep might be good for survivability. But yeah, I mean, this is the one that just helps with a little bit of extra damage. Next, we have the Wicked Gossip. The Wicked Gossip is an awesome spell. It does so much damage, but the key thing about the Wicked Gossip is that you have to have ricochet damage. The ricochets are insane. They do so much more damage than the actual normal hit. So try to just kill like one of those ads. And if you kill an ad and allow the ricochet to hit the boss, boom, you literally melt them almost, if not in one hit, like close to a one hit kill. So the enchants we have on this are on spellcast, increase ability damage by 30% for 10 seconds. This is for the blast gas proc. And the other enchant is on spellcast, increase damage dealt by 15% for 10 seconds. Now, in addition to this, if you do want to use, so first of all, just a quick disclaimer, this is the setup you'll want to use if you don't want to rock any guns and just want to keep spamming these spells like crazy. But if you want to use a gun, I would recommend a Fear Not pistol, the Pixie in specific, and I would go ahead and put the on spellcast increase damage dealt by 15%, and then what you're also going to do is you're going to change this Wicked Gossip over to the after getting a spell kill, gain a 50% chance to shoot an additional projectile. So what's going to happen then is, first off, you're going to get a lot of damage from Fear Knots because they do spell damage with the Pixie version, that is. You'll still be getting the same enchant that we previously had. And in addition, you have this enchant. So after you get a spell kill, you're basically going to have a 50% chance to have an additional projectile. Right now, each of these does 3 projectiles. You might get a 4th. So that's basically the gist of that. This is a setup if you want to be optimal and you want to run a gun. Otherwise, if you just want to have fun, don't want to use a gun, do this. Go back to the damage dealt, Wicked Gossip, and yeah, you can have a bunch of fun just spamming the spells and moving around, zooming around. So those are 2 different setups. You can rock one or the other. They both do a ton of damage, and yeah, just have fun with it. It's Chaos 100, so things are harder now, but this little build will make it a little more fun. So feel free to try it out. I will put the build in my Discord, so feel free to join that. The link is going to be in the description. And yeah, if you are if you're a console player, feel free to hit me up on my Discord. Just DM me, and I can send you all the gear for this build. But yeah, guys, that is all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and sub to the channel. I really appreciate it. We'll have more Wonderlands content. We'll also have some COD stuff. I'm still going to do the Road to Orion skin, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.